Let's begin by acknowledging the fundamental truth. Nothing of genuine value in this life arrives without dedication, determination, and perseverance. You might have encountered this notion before, but the real question is whether you have allowed it to resonate deep within your core. Achieving success is never a matter of random chance or pure luck. It's the direct result of resilience, strategy, and countless hours of unseen work. The essence of the grind embodies this relentless effort and discipline. It's the discipline to pry yourself in the comfort of warm blankets at dawn, shake off the temptation of hitting snooze, and choose instead to lace up your shoes for an early start. It's the perseverance required to keep going, day in and day out, even when you're tired, deflated, or momentarily discouraged. That unwavering focus, even when distractions are abundant and alluring, shapes you into a person capable of great feats. The grind is, at its core, the crucible in which winners and quitters are sorted. In the solitary moments, when everyone else is out having fun or resting and you're quietly hustling in the background, you discover exactly what you're made of. Success isn't merely about intelligence or talent. It's about the grit to keep pushing forward despite obstacles, setbacks, and self-doubt. It's about embracing each new sunrise as a fresh opportunity to prove to yourself that every sacrifice you've made has a purpose. Every stumbling block you overcome becomes part of the bedrock for your future achievements. While the rewards of hard work aren't always immediate, every ounce of sweat invested eventually returns tenfold in the form of growth and accomplishment. Yet, let's not mistake mere hard work for the entirety of the grind. Genuine grinding means consistently showing up, even on days when your motivation has shriveled to a flicker. It calls for an attitude of endurance, a willingness to confront monotony, and a commitment to small, daily victories that stack up over time. The grind isn't about short-lived bursts of enthusiasm. It's about sustained effort that transcends fleeting inspiration. True transformation never arrives overnight. It unfolds in increments, shaped by the thousands of tiny decisions you make every single day. That's the stark, unglamorous reality of striving for excellence. You must be prepared to put in the work regardless of whether anyone is watching or applauding. In this realm, it's you versus your excuses, your desire for comfort, and your inclination to quit. The choice to keep going, to endure when the easier option is to retreat, builds an unbreakable spirit. And that spirit, in the end, is what pays off in ways you might never have imagined. Motivation has long been hailed as the spark that ignites the journey toward success. We see it championed in books, seminars, and social media posts, often wrapped in catchy slogans and promises of rapid transformation. But here's a critical truth. Motivation is fickle. It ebbs and flows, often vanishing at the slightest hint of adversity or weariness. That's why relying solely on motivation is a gamble. It might drive you for a short while, but when it evaporates, which inevitably will, you're left with nothing but excuses. Discipline, by contrast, is a steel backbone supporting your efforts. Even when your motivation wanes, discipline steps in, compelling you to follow through on your obligations and tasks. Discipline isn't always flashy or fun. It demands that you set an early alarm despite wanting more sleep. It insists that you say no to leisure and yes to the grind, especially when you're longing for a break. It's about drawing upon a deeper well of determination that extends beyond whimsical desire and ephemeral bursts of excitement. This level of discipline shapes not just your actions, but your character. When you stick to your commitments, regardless of your emotional state, you're reinforcing a self-image of reliability and willpower. And as your discipline grows, so does your confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles and master challenges. But let's be clear, discipline doesn't mean banishing all joy from your life. Instead, it involves setting boundaries that align with your larger aspirations. When others are indulging in mindless distractions, you're honing your focus. When fatigue gnaws at the edges of your willpower, you summon that little extra push to do one more rep, finalize one more detail, or study one more hour. Each act of discipline becomes a stepping stone, accumulating into a sturdy bridge, leading you closer to your goals. Over time, these small victories pile up, creating a tidal wave of unstoppable momentum. So, how do you cultivate discipline? Start small. Dedicate yourself to a daily routine. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book each morning or writing in a journal before bed. Make these acts so ingrained in your habits that to skip them feels unnatural. With discipline as your anchor, you will withstand the unpredictable storms of self-doubt and laziness that inevitably blow in. And as you stay anchored, you'll discover that motivation, once thought to be so elusive, often reemerges when it senses a firm ground you've established. Discipline, after all, lights the path forward, illuminating the steps you must take even when the journey is long and the night is dark. At the heart of the grind lies an indispensable truth: sacrifice. You can have extraordinary results while living comfortably in the realm of average. Greatness demands a willingness to walk away from the easy road and embrace the hard path with open arms. When friends are enjoying late-night gatherings, you might be at your desk, poring over books or perfecting your craft. When the world seems to pause on weekends, you're using that time to refine your strategy or polish your skills. This level of sacrifice can often feel isolating, but it's the admission fee required to transcend the boundaries most people never dare to cross. That doesn't mean you have to sever all ties with your social circle or cast aside every pleasurable activity. Rather, it's about recognizing that each choice carries an opportunity cost. Each hour spent in idle entertainment is an hour not spent honing your edge or building your future. The best in any field, from athletes to artists to entrepreneurs, understood this trade-off. They chose practice sessions over parties and meticulous study over trivial leisure. Their consistent sacrifices eventually culminated in mastery, which the casual onlooker tend to misinterpret as effortless talent. In truth, nothing is effortless when the results shine at a world-class level. Sacrifice also reshapes your mindset. Every time you give up a comfort in favor of your dream, you're reaffirming that your vision matters. You're telling yourself, this goal is worth the inconvenience, and that deepens your conviction. Over time, self-belief flourishes as you witness the tangible fruits of your dedication. The sense of ownership you develop over your goals becomes a powerful driving force, sustaining you through low points when uncertainty creeps in. It's important to note that sacrifice isn't a one-time event. It's a daily or even hourly process of choosing what furthers your progress instead of what offers transient pleasure. Some days, you'll face pivotal crossroads. Quit now or push forward another hour. Hit snooze or get moving. Indulge a distraction or stay laser-focused. The sum of these decisions lays the blueprint for your destiny. Viewed through this lens, sacrifice transforms from a burdensome chore into a strategic asset. You learn to savor the process of earning your way forward. And in doing so, you sharpen the discipline and character that will one day make you stand out from the crowd. Embrace these sacrifices not as losses, but as investments in a future you're actively creating, brick by brick, day by day. If sacrifice is a foundation, consistency is a framework that holds everything together. It's one thing to push yourself intensely for a short period, whether it's a week-long burst of productivity or a sudden surge of enthusiasm. But it's an entirely different matter to keep that effort going for months, years, and even decades. In many ways, consistency might be the most underappreciated trait on the path to success. It's easy to be enthralled by stories of overnight triumphs, but reality shows us that most overnight successes are often the result of countless days, weeks, and years of sustained work. Consistency can be monotonous. It can feel as though you're grinding away with no clear validation that what you're doing is paying off. This is precisely where many individuals falter. The excitement that fueled their initial steps fades when results aren't instantaneous. But here's the thing. True success emerges through cumulative effort. Each training session enhances your stamina and skill. Each hour of study accumulates knowledge. Each difficult conversation cultivates your communication ability. Over time, these gains become exponential, but you rarely notice in the moment because they grow in small, steady increments. To maintain consistency, you need a system, a routine that clarifies what tasks you must accomplish each day to edge closer to your goals. This structure provides a discipline to keep going, even on days when your inspiration is an all-time low. Instead of waiting for a burst of passion, you rely on your plan, a set of priorities that ensure you never wander too far from path. Overcoming boredom or fatigue becomes easier when you have a roadmap guiding you forward, reminding you of the bigger vision that spurred you to start in the first place. Consistency isn't just about repetitively doing the same task. It's also about evolving through feedback. It's about making small improvements and adjustments along the way. Every time you act, you learn a little bit more about what works and what doesn't. By applying these lessons, your consistency becomes not a static routine, but a dynamic process of refinement. With each iteration, you grow stronger, smarter, and more efficient. This unbroken chain of effort not only builds results, it forges a resilient mindset prepared to face anything. Eventually, you'll look back and realize that your steady commitment to small actions has assembled something monumental, something that stands out in a world where most people give up far too soon. Central to this entire journey is your mindset. While we often talk about physical labor, late nights, and early mornings, the heaviest lifting sometimes takes place in your own head. Each step of the grind demands a robust mental framework that keeps self-doubt and fear in check. When exhaustion sets in, or when a string of failures causes you to question your capabilities, your mindset either lifts you up or pulls you down. Think of it as a lens through which you interpret every challenge. An obstacle could be seen as an insurmountable wall or as a puzzle solved. In the same situation, one person might quit while another perseveres, and the primary difference between the two is often their state of mind. A powerful mindset doesn't eliminate problems. Rather, it helps you confront them with composure and creativity. Imagine an athlete who faces a series of defeats. Someone with a fragile mindset might interpret these losses as a sign they're not cut out for sport, potentially walking away from for good. In contrast, someone with a resilient mindset views defeat as a lesson, an opportunity to identify weaknesses and devise new strategies. This perspective fuels further dedication, driving them back to training with renewed focus. Over time, that willingness to learn transforms setbacks into stepping stones. One way to build mental resilience is through deliberate practice in adversity. Consciously tackle tasks that stretch your current abilities. Set goals that are difficult enough to demand growth, but realistic enough to be achievable. Each time you conquer a challenge, your self-confidence gets a boost, and every failure, handled well, becomes a critical part of your learning curve. Gradually, you learn to view adversity not as a crisis, but as an essential catalyst for progress. Another essential aspect is controlling your internal narrative. Negative self-talk can be a powerful enemy. The moment you start saying, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't handle this," you open the door for defeat to creep in. Replace these thoughts with empowering statements, focusing on your potential rather than your limitations. Sure, positivity doesn't solve everything, but it does keep your head in the right place. If you fuel your mind with optimism and belief, your actions tend to follow suit. Ultimately, it's your mindset that determines how effectively you'll navigate the trials of the grind, turning tribulations into triumphs and ensuring that every hurdle becomes one more reason to keep pushing forward. What lies beyond this relentless pursuit? It's not merely wealth, fame, or recognition, though those might be byproduct for some. The truest reward of the grind is a profound sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing you earned every inch of your progress. It's the unshakable self-assurance that arises when you reflect on all the hard work, the hours no one else witnessed, and the resolve you mustered in moments that tested your spirit. The real payoff is the transformation you undergo, emerging more resilient, more disciplined, and more attuned to your own strengths and weaknesses. Imagine that first major breakthrough, landing a coveted promotion, completing a grueling creative project, or conquering a physical feat that once seemed impossible. In that moment, the sensation isn't just relief or fleeting excitement. It's the deep pride of a person who refused to cave in. You recognize that every sacrifice and moment of tenacity became the stepping stones that formed the path to your achievement. This self-awareness can't be bought. It must be cultivated through daily trials and unwavering dedication. It's the kind of feeling that not only elevates your own life, but also sets an example for others who watch you rise. Yet the benefits extend even further than personal satisfaction. When you've truly experienced the grind, you gain a unique perspective that helps you empathize with others on their journeys. You become a mentor, guide, or inspiration to those struggling along the same road you once walked. Your story, layered with struggle, perseverance, and ultimate triumph, can be the catalyst for someone else's leap of faith. In this way, the grind doesn't just transform you, It enriches the world around you by offering a blueprint and a beacon of hope. But the journey doesn't end after a single victory. Reaching a goal often reveals new horizons and higher peaks. Each success is a chapter in an ongoing story, not the final page. The hunger remains, urging you to aim even higher, push even harder, and test your capabilities in ever more challenging arenas. Far from breeding complacency, success stokes the fire to keep growing. After all, the greatest danger is often believing you've arrived. The grind calls you to remain humble, hungry, and open to reality that there are always new goals worth chasing. Above all, it reminds you that what's most valuable isn't the finish line, but the remarkable individual you become on the way there. One common challenge people face on this path is the isolation that sometimes accompanies unwavering commitment. While you're busy honing your craft or grinding away at a project, the world around you doesn't pause to wait. Friends may continue to socialize without you, colleagues might move on to different pursuits, and even family members might not fully grasp why you dedicate so much effort to your vision. This loneliness can sting. There are evenings you might feel left out, and mornings you wake up questioning whether all these sacrifices are worth it. But solitude also holds a silver lining. It grants you a space where distractions are minimized and self-reflection is heightened. In these quiet hours when nobody is watching, you gain clarity on the depth of your ambitions and the real reasons behind your goals. Often, this clarity becomes a powerful driving force, reminding you what you stand to gain by persevering, both in tangible achievements and in intangible growth. The doubt you experience in moments of loneliness is natural, but it can also serve as an inner alarm bell, alerting you to how much this dream matters to you. Moreover, when you do emerge from these solitary periods to share time with loved ones, the experiences can feel richer and more purposeful. The people who truly support you will understand your hustle, respect your boundaries, and celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Instead of scattering your focus across countless social engagements or shallow interactions, you deepen a handful of meaningful connections with those who genuinely care about your journey. Quality supersedes quantity, and the moments you do spend together become all the more special. It's also worth recognizing that everyone's grind looks a little different. Some people can manage an intense schedule while still finding regular opportunities to connect with others. Others need more secluded time to produce their best work. The key is finding your personal rhythm and honoring it without guilt or apology. You're not being antisocial or selfish if you momentarily choose work over play. You're making an investment in your future. And as you continue to refine your approach, you'll learn how to strike a balance that honors both your aspirations and the relationships that matter most. This understanding guards you from the pitfalls of complete isolation, ensuring that your pursuit of success doesn't overshadow the importance of community and camaraderie. Amid these sacrifices and solitary stretches, mistakes and failures are inevitable. Far from signifying defeat, these stumbling blocks are the very fodder that fuels advancement. Each time you fall short, you glean critical insights into what went wrong and how to adapt moving forward. In fact, failing fast and learning fast often propels you quicker toward your objectives than tiptoeing around every possible error. By confronting setbacks head-on, you develop a thicker skin and a more nuanced understanding of your craft or field. This knowledge, obtained through hands-on experience, is infinitely more valuable than any theoretical lesson you might learn from a textbook. Still, the emotional toll of failure can be intense. You might feel embarrassment, frustration, or a blow to your confidence. Yet these feelings, painful as they are, can be channeled into productive momentum. Allow the sting of defeat to sharpen your awareness, driving you to refine your methods. Instead of equating a single failure with a lack of talent, recognize it as part of the process that everyone faces when striving for something truly significant. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit often boils down to how they handle these difficult moments. Some let mistakes erode their willpower, while others turn them into motivational fuel. Consider the stories of innovators, athletes, and creatives who have shaped our world. Most endured a series of missteps before hitting their stride. Their eventual breakthroughs weren't spontaneous. They were cumulative results of repeated iterations, each iteration informed by the lessons of failure. These people viewed losing as data, an indication that something needed adjusting. not a verdict on their entire future. Over time, as they applied what they learned, success became an almost inevitable byproduct of their sustained effort. It's also important to permit yourself time to process mistakes without letting them define you. Reflect, regroup, and re-emerge stronger. If you rush through a failure without reflection, you risk repeating it down the line. If, on the other hand, you linger in self-pity, you stall your progress. Striking the right balance between acknowledging a setback and moving past it is key. Each failure you metabolize properly becomes an asset, another building block in your fortress of resilience. And when the next challenge arises, as it invariably will, you stand better prepared, fortified by the trials that once threatened to derail you. Another crucial aspect of enduring the grind is having a clear vision. Without a destination, the daily hustle can start to feel pointless and mechanical. A well-defined vision acts like a lighthouse, guiding you through turbulent waters and keeping your enthusiasm anchored in a higher purpose. Ask yourself, what's the ultimate impact you want to make, and why does it matter? Identifying the deeper reasons behind your goals will infuse each day's work with meaning. Instead of merely going through the motions, logging hours, checking boxes, you'll know precisely how each step moves you closer to an overarching aspiration. With clarity of purpose, even tedious tasks gain a sense of direction. If you're an entrepreneur, for example, the long nights spent analyzing spreadsheets aren't just about numbers. They're laying financial groundwork for a service or product that could transform lives. If you're an artist, hours of practice aren't mindless drills, but a devotion to honing a craft that might spark emotion in countless people. When you view your efforts through this lens, discipline transitions from an external obligation to an internal calling. Of course, even the most crystal clear vision can get cloudy when real-life stress and distractions pile up. Here's where regular self-assessment comes in. Schedule moments, weekly, monthly, or quarterly, to step back and reevaluate your objectives. During these sessions, measure your progress, celebrate your wins, and adjust your strategy if necessary. Goals evolve over time, and you might discover new passions or opportunities that steer you in a slightly different direction. Embrace these shifts rather than viewing them as detours, because maintaining flexibility in your vision keeps it alive and adaptive rather than rigid and fragile. A compelling vision isn't just for you, either. It can be the driving force that draws collaborators, clients, mentors, and even competitors who push you to excel further. People gravitate toward passion and clarity. When you articulate your vision confidently, you invite the right kind of energy into your life. Supportive peers, valuable partnerships, and loyal followers who believe in the same cause. In this way, your vision becomes a collective beacon, rallying a group of like-minded individuals around a shared purpose. Together, your combined energies amplify the results in ways that might be unimaginable on your own. With every phase of growth, your vision sharpens further, reinforcing that each day's grind is more than a slog. It's a purposeful quest with tangible and intangible rewards awaiting at the summit. At the end of the day, the grind is more than a repetitive cycle of hard work. It's a transformative voyage that redefines your capabilities and reshapes your identity. Yes, the daily grind can be grueling. You will face moments when quitting seems not just tempting, but entirely rational. When you're physically exhausted, mentally drained, and emotionally spent, stepping away can feel like the easier path. But it's precisely at these junctions that greatness is forged. Each time you persist through hardship, you're fortifying the stronghold of your ambition and investing in the person you're becoming. That person is someone who values discipline over fleeting inspiration, who sees failures as catalysts rather than condemnations, and who treats sacrifices as stepping stones to extraordinary accomplishments. Over time, this approach yields not just achievements, but a deep sense of purpose and self-respect. It cultivates a confidence that can't be replicated by shortcuts or superficial quick fixes. In a world that often seeks immediate gratification, you become the exception, the individual who plants seeds and patiently tends them, anticipating a harvest that can nourish you for a lifetime. As you advance, remember that your story holds the power to ignite a spark in others. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching. Friends, family, colleagues, even strangers who might glean inspiration from your unwavering resolve. Your example can embolden someone else to pick themselves up after a setback or to commit more fully to their goals. In that sense, the grind extends beyond personal gain. It's also a form of collective uplift, a chain reaction of aspiration that can resonate far beyond your immediate circle. So, stand firm against the pull of your own doubts and the noise of external skeptics. Keep making the tough choices. Keep showing up day after day, and keep fueling the flame of your vision, no matter how distant that vision might seem. The true glory isn't in the applause or the accolades. It's in the knowledge that you refuse to settle for less than your full potential. In the end, when you reflect on your journey, you'll see that the grind did indeed pay off, because it didn't just lead you to your goals. It shaped you into the remarkable individual who could attain them. Remember, this is your life, your dream, and your grind. Embrace it fully, and never lose faith in how far your dedication can carry you.